told you this was gonna be tough, but hi guys, so you see the title of this video, you know what this is about. Next week is the beginning of May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm super excited to be making this video. Real quick, I'll come in a little bit close so you can see. I snagged these ribbons from work. This is for Mental Health Awareness, specifically for making this video. So I'm glad to be here, but this week in particular is even more exciting for this channel because for the first time ever, the channel has surpassed 2,000 subscribers. I know, crazy. I know it's not a lot in the scheme of the internet, but for me and the whole purpose of me making the channel and where we're at now, it's bonkers. And what makes this week even more exciting is that this is also the week last year when things started to pick up for me. So prior to this week last year, I maybe have single digit subscribers, a couple of hundred views. Like this was the week where things kind of picked up for the channel. So this is a crazy exciting week for me, and this is probably my 50th take of this video. I do not want to cry anymore. 'Cause I don't wanna cry. Or I'm really trying to keep it together, but just thinking about this journey, I get super emotional about it all. And bottom line is that I have to thank each and every one of you, all of my subscribers, and even those who just watch my videos. Man, I'm not gonna cry. Thank you. Let's just change the subject real quick and get into the topic. Mental health awareness. Now, one of my earliest videos was about a moment that I had. It's an ataxia moment. I'll post a link in the description, of course, but that video just kind of goes over a specific moment where my brain kind of shut down. I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't walk. Like my brain just, everything was closed for business. And I kind of began that video from that moment when it happened, but I wanted to make this video because mainly as a reminder that we should always be checking in on our mental health. It's a constant thing. It's something that builds up because that moment didn't just happen out of nowhere. There were a whole bunch of things that kind of happened beforehand that I just kind of ignored or just minimized, or just I was in complete denial about the situation. And looking back now, I think maybe if I paid more attention, if I was more in tune and in touch with myself, I would have known that I needed help and I would have sought it earlier, and maybe it would not have led to this big explosive thing to happen. So I want to begin first off before I forget. There's this website that I'm gonna read. They have a couple of tips, not many, of things to do for mental health. And number 1 is move. Number 2 is nourish. Number 3 is focus on healthy sleep. Number 4 is take advantage of resources. And number 5 is strengthen your mind. And I'm gonna, of course, I always tell you guys a story. I'm gonna tell you guys just prior to that big moment, where I think the beginning of all of this happened was when I moved to Florida. I got a job as a contractor. It was doing something that I hadn't done in years. I was super nervous. It was a big move, and I doubted myself. And gosh, I hope I made the right decision to just pick up everything and sell the house and move. Like, there was just so much anxiety that was happening, but of course you try to suppress it. Now, I am working on an Air Force base and also living on the base. So every morning I would get up super early and walk to work. It was maybe a 15-minute walk. Most of the time it was dark outside, so a nice cool kind of breeze. And it was just me walking through this field to work. And I noticed where it got to the point where I felt like I couldn't breathe. And it was super scary. Like again, I'm walking through this field. There was nothing, nowhere for me to sit, no building for me to lean against. It was just me and open grass. So I thought, and I kept thinking, feeling like any minute I was gonna just pass out. And because I was in the middle of nowhere, would anyone find me? That's kind of what I would think. And I would try to slow down and just kind of pace my breathing and do whatever I could to make it to work. And of course, every day that I did, so when I did make it to work, I would minimize what happened and go, it's just, Mikey, it's just you just being dramatic. That's kind of like what I chalked it up to. During my next doctor's visit, just general physical stuff, they do blood work on me, and it was kind of like, you have a slight anemia, not like anything crazy, but slight anemia. And so I didn't want to mention anything that had been going on, so I just thought, I don't know why that's happening. So the doctor was like, well, it's not anything major, we just need to keep keep an eye on that. So every day it was just like the same kind of thing, where I would walk to work and kind of feel that way, but eventually make it. So I would just think that I was being silly and just moving right along. So I ended up getting another job in California, moving across country again, totally different environment, totally different job, totally out of my element, and all of this change. And it was also when I started to drive finally. So a lot of stuff was going on, and the panic attacks, which I didn't know what they were at the time. That's exactly what they were, but I didn't know. They went away for a bit, but then started to creep back in. And so I have this job where me and a coworker, a big part of the job was just walking from point A to point B to point C to point D. So we did a lot of walking, and each time we walked, I kept thinking, like, if it was too quiet, I would start to just have this anxiety, this panic attack, and thinking, once again, I'm gonna pass out in front of her. And my hands would get cold and sweaty at the same time, and my head felt like super heavy, like I was just gonna topple and go forward. But again, I always made it to the next point, and so at the end of the day, I'm just thinking, Mikey, it's just you. There's nothing wrong with you. And it wasn't until one day where my coworker called off. It was just me, so there was no one to kind of distract me from that feeling. The attack got super worse and worse and worse, to the point where I thought, okay, I have to go to see a doctor. Like, this is crazy. So I leave work early, and so I'm working in Lemoore, California. The closest VA was in Fresno, California, which is about 45 minutes away. And so I thought I'll just drive up there and see if I can see a doctor. So that was the plan. I get up there, I go to registration. The lady behind the counter just goes, "Are you okay? You don't look too well." So I thought, oh, okay, she's noticing. I didn't say anything, but she's noticing. So she goes, "I think you need to go to the ER." So okay, so I go to the ER. Waiting to be seen, and as I sit there, of course, I start to calm down. So what happens? I'm thinking, Mikey, you have driven 45 minutes to come to this VA, and they're gonna take you in and say you're perfectly healthy, there's nothing wrong with you, why are you here? And I really was thinking, just get in the car and go back home. Just get in the car and go back home, because you are being ridiculous. But something told me, you know what, I'm here, I'm supposed to stay. So I do get seen. They run all the tests on me, and the doctor says, physically you're fine, there's nothing wrong with you, but it seems like you have had a panic attack. Have you had one before? And that's the first time where that option was introduced to me, that I could possibly be having panic attacks. Because again, I didn't really know what that was. I heard of it, but I didn't think that's what I was having. But when he went through the symptoms, he's like, well, you do have low oxygen in your blood, and your blood pressure is super high, your heart is beating fast, No signs of anything, no heart attack or stroke or anything like that, but it is giving indications that you have had a panic attack. And that was the first time I was like, oh, there's a name for it, of this thing that I've been feeling. So I kind of went through all this stuff with the doctor, and that's when he was kind of like, yeah, you need to be seen for this. And so it was a month later where I had that ataxia moment, because I was gonna move yet again. So getting involved in some type of treatment wasn't on the books, at least at the moment. But I didn't even have chance. I didn't have a chance to settle somewhere else and begin, because that moment happened just like that. And I hope, if you guys haven't seen the video, I hope you'll watch it, because honestly, I haven't even seen the video. This is back in the day where I could not see any of my videos, but just in case I don't mention it in that video, I was super freaking scared. As you can imagine, I couldn't remember the president, my address, I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't walk, I couldn't remember animals. Like, just it was such a scary moment. And every test was ran on me, thinking, to eliminate any physical thing, and it all ended up being because I didn't take care of my mental health. And thinking about it, going back to this list real quick, like, first, number one was move. I wasn't moving, like, unless I was trying to lose weight, I didn't move, not realizing that, or not acknowledging that whenever I did move, like whenever I ran or did some type of aerobics, as much as I hate to do stuff like that, there was also parts of it that I really enjoyed, and where I would think about things and kind of sort out issues that when I was still, I would always push off to the side. But for some reason, when I moved, it kind of cleared my mind up to where I could think about those things and process it. Next one is nourish. Again, me continuously trying to be in the best shape that I can be. I've tried every single diet, low carb, low calorie, low flavor, just whatever you could think of. I've done it all, not realizing or not supplementing vitamins and stuff that I need to be healthy. I did that easily. I was so good. I'm very disciplined to where when I start a diet, I can be on it and I stick to it, and nothing will distract me. To a fault, actually. So the next one is focusing on healthy sleep. When I moved out west, especially, I never adjusted to a different time zone. The entire time I was there, 5 or 6 years, I never adjusted to a different time zone. And so I was sleeping maybe 3 or 4 hours a night the entire time. So yeah, that was screwed up too. Taking advantage of resources. Me being a veteran, well, me being American, to be honest with you, there's so many resources that are available to us. But in particular, being a veteran, there's even more, and it's free. And I wasn't taking advantage of any of that stuff. But finally, going back to the one that I think that's most important, which is strengthening your mind. Maybe it's me just being a guy, being in the military, but when I thought of health, I thought physical health. That's kind of all that I wanted, that I thought that I should focus on. And so that's the one that actually, once I really dove into that, strengthening my mind, it changed so much. I found so many different ways to be healthy. And this channel is one of those ways, because many of you know this, but so much I kept bottled in. I suppressed so much, and that was doing so much damage to me that I just, way beyond what I could have imagined. It really destroyed so much of my wellness and led to a bunch of that crappy stuff. So having these different outlets, writing my book, writing songs that dealt with, lyrics that dealt with what I was going through, but most importantly, this channel, and actually saying things out loud that I kept inside, that I buried for so long. It has made a world of difference. And again, for those of you who have seen my first couple of videos, to see those, to me now, I think there's a huge, big difference. And again, even when I made those first videos, I was still like a kind of already on the path to being healthy. But just, I think I've come alive so much, and it's because I'm actually focusing on my mental health. So I want all of that. I want the same thing that I'm experiencing now, the growth and the wellness that I feel with my mental health. I want that for each and every single one of you. So that's why I make my channel. And again, I do want to give a broader, I don't want everything to be bah humbug, you know, like just like, whoa, all this tough stuff. So yeah, I include Bad Mikey and Spicy and Silly. Like, I include a whole bunch of other stuff because I want a round view of the person that I am. But ultimately, it's all of it has to do with being as healthy as possible. That's exactly what I want to get across. And if I can, whatever means it takes for me to kind of be healthy for myself and to do whatever I can to help y'all be healthy, I'm gonna do it. So again, thank y'all so much for coming on this journey with me. And why I keep saying y'all, like, I don't know where that's coming from either. I think I'm getting more comfortable in being in the South for 20 plus years is kind of showing itself. But please like, subscribe would be even better, but most importantly, comment. Just let me know if you've had a mental health epiphany, or just what you think about it. If you have any tips that you want to share with me, with anyone else who's reading the comments, that would be great. I would love to read about it, of course, as always. So